It's a huge news day in the world of Magic the Gathering. There has just been a leak for Dominaria United that ruins the story. On top of that, we have a bunch of promos and secret layer bonus cards to talk about.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have a ton of magical goodness to discuss. Chief amongst it would be the leak for Dominaria United that genuinely does ruin the story. So, if you don't want spoilers, you can stick around for the first part of the video. We'll go through all the promos, all the bonus cards for Secret Lair, and then we will finish off with the Dominaria leak. There is some absolute insanity in there, all right? But first, let's dive in by talking about Magic 30 promos, Game Day promos, Store Championship promos, and Secret Lair bonus cards. We're starting off with the 30th Anniversary Special Edition promo line that Wizards of the Coast has just announced. This is a chronologically sequential set, starting with Sarah Angel. So how it works is they're picking one card from each year of Magic's history, and they're using it as an emblem for that year. So to start with, we're getting Sarah Angel. Now, it's kind of funny to look at this card through the lens of Magic in 2020, because 2 white and 3 for a 4/4 flyer with Vigilance is actually pretty weak by today's standards, right? That is an uncommon that you would play in draft, but would never make it into the likes of standard. However, when Magic started, Sarah Angel was huge. This card made a massive impact on the game to the point where Wizards of the Coast used it as the gold standard of how they would judge creatures' power level, and eventually actually took Sarah Angel out of print. So it's funny to see how much things have changed, and honestly, it's an excellent choice to pick for this first year's card. You'll notice they put the little 1993 down in the bottom left-hand corner, and each of these promos will have the year printed on it. Now, there is a little bit of an oddity in that the cards they've chosen are from those years, but the artwork don't automatically match. So for example, Sarah Angel, when it was first printed, didn't have this artwork. This artwork is actually much better than the original Sarah Angel's artwork. I love the way that her hair is flowing up around the sword. It makes it feel like she's been whipping quickly through the air and her hair is just catching up. It's really cool. It gives great flavor. And those big widespread wings, like this is a fantastic looking card and a great choice to kind of encompass the history of Magic the Gathering. Now, when we move on to 1994, we get Ball Lightning, right? Ball Lightning made a huge impact when it showed up. 3 red gets you a 6/1 Trampler with haste. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Ball Lightning. So this really encapsulated the idea of, hey, it's like a burn spell, but it's a creature as well. And you can get creatures in the way to absorb some of the damage, but it's going to barrel over them and smash into you. It was really neat to see this strange kind of glass jaw creature where it has this massive power and this tiny little toughness. But the toughness is almost irrelevant because if you block it with the creature and you're going to destroy the Ball Lightning, it doesn't matter because the Ball Lightning just goes at the end of the turn anyways. So that sacrificial nature of it makes it into a very strange beast, and it was very widely used. Now this one again doesn't feature the original artwork, and if you're wondering why they don't do that, it's because the original artwork they paid royalties for. So to reprint those artworks, it would have to be done under that previous agreement unless they made a new agreement with the artist to purchase the artwork outright and to be able to use it, right? So what Wizards does now is they basically will take artwork they've used for newer versions of cards and use that in place of the old artwork because then they don't have to pay the royalties. So that's why you're getting this Ball Lightning that looks like it's an ant's head with this massive cone of lightning streaking behind it. And I like the fact that it feels like it's moving super quick, right? Like everything is lit up around it in the night as it comes charging towards you. This is a really neat spell and an excellent choice for the 1994 selection. Now, when we move on to 1995, it gets a little bit weirder because you'll notice this is Fyndhorn Elfin. So what's going on here? Well, Wizards of the Coast has decided that as part of this celebration, they want to include all of the languages that they brought into Magic the Gathering. So certain years will feature different languages. 1995 will be the German year, where you will get your 1 green mana, 1/1, tap for 1 green creature. So this is essentially pretty much just another variation of Llanowar Elf. Although I've always loved about this artwork the fact that the elves in it really feel like they have special clothing that's been designed for where they are, and it kind of makes me think of D&D and what is it, like Lord of the Rings, where the elves have like special mithril and special cloaks that they make, and they just know how to make fabrics that are imbued with magic and can do different things. So the idea that these snow elves know how to make this gear, like they don't look like they're wearing anything super intense. It looks thin and sheer, and yet they look like the cold isn't bothering them at all. And I like that contrast against the frigid environment that they're in. Like, how long would you last there? I wouldn't last very long. Now, that's the 3 Magic 30 promos that they've shown us. The other 27 are yet to be revealed. I love the idea of showcasing Magic in this way. The next thing we're going to talk about are the batch of game day promos, the first of which is Touch the Spirit Realm. This is a really solid enchantment. 1 white and 2, it says when it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature until it leaves the battlefield. And it also has the ability Channel. Pay 1 white and 1, discard Touch the Spirit Realm, exile target artifact or creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this is essentially a different variation of Oblivion Ring, but with a bonus, because Oblivion Ring is the same thing. 1 white and 2, exile something, it'll come back when the ring goes, but you can't discard it to use it like a flicker to save one of your things at super fast speed, or just get rid of one of your opponent's creatures or artifacts in an instant moment when they're not expecting it. There's a lot of versatility to this card, and I'm happy about this for another reason, because I actually have Touched the Spirit Realm in my cube, and I don't like the artwork on the original nearly as much as I like the artwork on this one. This angel has this crazy ethereal vibe to her where she's half there and half not, and you've got this radiating cascade of heavenly aura that is just going outwards around her that kind of has the same shiver as a gasoline pool on a driveway. It's so colorful and resplendent. I love it. The next game day promo is Workshop Warchief. So we've got somebody from Capenna's Riveteers here. 2 green and 3 for a 5/3 trampler. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. When it dies, you make a 4/4 green rhino warrior creature token, and it's got blitz. So this is a beefcake in the vein of green cards that just have a bunch of great abilities slapped together. It's like, yo, let's give it trample and blitz. Okay, but we can do better. I don't know, man, give it 3 life when it comes in. That's good, but what else? I don't know, give him a 4/4 rhino when it goes. Perfect. That's enough abilities. Slam it out there. I'm a big fan of greenie boys, so for me, I'm cool with this. Moving on, we've got the most impressive of the game day promos, and that is Shivan Devastator. 1 red and X for an XX flying hasted dragon hydra. This, again, much like the ball lightning, is a creature that feels like a living burn spell, right? But this one sticks around, and if you're playing like a silly little dragon deck, you can actually also technically use this just as a 2 casting cost dragon to get a dragon on the board real quick, right? If you got a couple in your hand, put one out right away and go, he's just a little guy. He's just got 1 head. You don't even know he's a hydra. That's fun. And this has a different artwork, so people are going to be clamoring for this one, I imagine. After that, we're going to talk about the store championship promos. The first one is the participation promo, and that's Spell Pierce. 1 blue instant, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays to. A very solid spell. The artwork is awesome. You've got merfolk who are being defended by their leader who's got the trident pointed forwards, who's using a force bubble of magic to stop this crazy inky black magic that's
firing down from upwards. Maybe merfolk are fighting against like octopus or cephalid people or something like that. You know what I mean? That could be the vibe. The only minor nitpick I have is this is a bubble of force. There is no spell pierce. Nothing's being pierced, right? So technically, the name isn't accurate. The next store championship promo is the top 8 promo, and this is Gilded Goose. Gilded Goose is an awesome card that originally showed up in Throne of Eldraine and served to flesh out the food concept. And it has a very Birds of Paradise feel to it, right? It's a 1 green flyer that can't do any damage. It produces a mana of any color for you because when you put it out, it gives you a food token to start with, so it's ready to act like that bird. But I love the artwork and the fact that it just straight out shows you how this one deals with food tokens. You summon this goose up and it shows up with the big fat fish in its mouth like, what's up, bro? I know you like fish, yo. And then when you send the thing off to fly, get you some more food by using its ability, the green and 1 ability, create a food token, boom, you're like, he's flying off to go and grab you another fish. So it's like, I just love it, man. I love the idea that he goes and get these fish. You can eat the fish to gain life. I got you super healthy fish, bro. Or you can be like, I'm gonna eat the fish. And he goes, and he chokes that fish down. And then out of one of his random holes, some mana falls out. And it's like, thanks, Gilded Goose. Thanks for mana falling out of your holes, bro. I appreciate it. I find this quirky, goofy, silly, and I adore it. Now, let's talk about the championship promo. Omnath, Locus of Creation, for the winner. Whoever wins the event gets this. There's only one per store. A textless Omnath, Locus of Creation. It's so epic. And Omnath has so many abilities and so many words on him. So it's hilarious to have one that has no words on it. And they've utilized the idea of, oh, hey, we're not going to have any text on here to really give you a sense of grand scale. Omnath is fisting Zendikar so hard right now, right? He's got 4 fists slammed down, mana's blasting down through them into the place or up into him. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's feeding it out or flowing it in, but it's great either way. And ultimately, Omnath has already tapped into 4 different colors of the 5 magic colors. What happens when he gets to the 5th color? Does Omnath become like a planeswalker? It's possible. Calyx didn't have a spark and he became a planeswalker. And honestly, an elemental attuning itself to every type of mana and then becoming like a sentient planeswalker, or maybe not even a sentient planeswalker, is a really, really cool idea, right? So that's all the promos, but we still have to talk about the bonus cards for Secret Lair. So the first one we're going to talk about is Boogie Bomb, and this is from the Fortnite Secret Lair. It's a 1 casting cost artifact that is actually Pyrite Spell Bomb from the original Mirrodin block. Pay 1 red and sack it. It deals 2 damage to any target. Pay 1 generic and sack it. You get to draw a card. So this right here is an okay card. It's nothing too exciting. It's nothing too terrible. Flavor Text says, you're gonna love this next one. So I don't know how this works. Is this a disco one when you lob it, boom, it like rips people apart? Or when you lob it, does it force them to dance until they collapse? Like, I don't know how Fortnite works, but it is goofy and silly, so whatever. Let's move on to the other bonus card because it too is a Fortnite bonus card, and that is the Spire. It's a reskinned command tower. Seems like a decent choice to include. You know, a lot of people play Commander, so it's a good way to get into it if you're not already. And so yeah, basically Flavor Text says, what did you do to the 0 point? I don't know what that means because I never played the game. I see the spire in the middle. I assume that the skies swirling above them is that collapsing sky that we saw that turned into the Wrath of God card from the other spoilers from this. But ultimately, that wraps up those bonus cards. So let's go talk about the crazy stuff that's going on with the Dominaria United League.
All right, now that the promo goodness is out of the way, this is your last warning. What I'm going to tell you will ruin the Dominaria storyline for you in terms of telling you some crazy twists and turns. The information I'm going to present to you comes by way of a leak through Amazon. Wizards of the Coast is releasing Magic the Gathering, a visual guide. Okay, so this is a book that will be available at the end of the year and has little snippets from different planes of existence, different major characters and planeswalkers, and buried deep in those snippets is very, very revealing information. So once again, I'm going to tell you, bounce now if you don't want major spoilers. Are we good? Okay. A Johnny is going to get completed by the Phyrexians. A Johnny is going to be Phyrexianized, right? Not just that, but the Phyrexianized Ajani is going to kill Jaya Ballard. So we are having a Planeswalker's life end. This is insanely rare in Magic the Gathering, right? We had that happen with War of the Spark, where I genuinely thought, even with all the Planeswalkers they were bringing on board, that they wouldn't end anybody. And they did off like 3 people. So I gave them props for that. But still, it's so rare that never in a million years would I expect that to happen. It's buried deep in the information about Chandra in one little sentence at the end where it talks about how basically a Johnny gets turned into a Phyrexian and then wipes out Jaya Ballard, and now Chandra is full on ready to bring fire and pain to Phyrexia. But here's the thing. That's not the only thing that was spoiled. On a fun side note mentioning Phyrexia, you can actually see the 9 spheres of new Phyrexia emulating the original Phyrexia. But we have even more lore spoilers for anybody who's been wondering about the Raven Man. The identity of the Raven Man has finally been revealed. For years, it has been speculated, who is the Raven Man, right? Who is this mysterious figure that has been guiding Liliana? He's responsible for so much of what's happened to her, right? Like all the way back before her spark even ignited, the Raven Man was there. And he always seemed like, is he real? Is he a figment of my imagination? Like, what? Who is the Raven Man? Well, now we know. It's Limdul, the Necromancer. A bunch of people speculated this correctly. The information was there to kind of sort it out. But at the same time, we know Wizards of the Coast will change their stories, retcon, or ultimately just throw storylines to the side. For example, in this particular book, when it talks about Chandra and her relationship to Gideon, it says she loves Gideon like a brother. So you can see they keep kind of modifying the relationships between different characters and things like that. But ultimately, this Limdul reveal is amazing, right? Like Limdul was originally just a cowardly little soldier, and he booked it when the unit that he was with got into trouble. He's like, I'm just gonna leave them, and they all get wiped out. And he's basically trying to survive out in the frozen wastes, stumbles across a cave through sheer luck, and finds a magical ring. This ring was the ring of Mersil the Pretender, and it gives Limdul crazy powers. Like Limdul's story is pretty long to begin with, without even taking into account that he's full on the Raven Man. So we find out in Dominaria that he's the Raven Man. Limdul's gonna be there. This set looks absolutely wild. So we know a Johnny's host. The Phyrexians are gonna get him. We know Jaya's done for, which finally, I mean, not specifically her, but finally, we can expect more genuine stakes in the story. Being willing to take out Planeswalkers is super impressive to me, because it felt for like a long time, Wizards of the Coast was like, no. We can sell like millions of copies of these, and we can put them on binders and everything else. We keep them all alive. But by letting Planeswalkers die, you give their life more meaning. Do you know what I mean? Like Urza is my favorite Planeswalker of all time. He's been gone for a long time, and I still hold such a torch for him that I'm covering his entire story over on Fantasy Geographic. We've got hours and hours of lore about what's going on Dominaria in the precursor days. So man, I am so stoked about these reveals. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now. We're doing a fun live stream over on my Hatcher channel today. You're welcome to come on by and hang out. We got a bunch of good stuff going on over there. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting my channel. And I will see you all, my friends, in the next video.